I think Eggster has finally found his Yoru replacement. If you've been watching competitive Valorant, you would know that Yoru got nerfed into the ground. A lot of teams have dropped him, and that meant bad news for our favorite streamer, Eggster. Now, last week against Loud, we've seen him play agents like Harbor. We've seen him play Vito. We've seen him play Omen. And now his Omen doesn't look too bad, but other agents like Vito, who are a little more complex, don't exactly play like Yoru, right? His CPs aren't really the same, and maybe that's what Envy might have thought by putting him on that agent. And Harbor, I just think that these agents don't really fit Eggster's play style. And now this week, we've seen Envy put him on an agent that is kind of similar to Yoru. He's got the flashes, he's kind of like an initiator, the ults are like kind of the same, but his Phoenix looks miles better than any other agent he's played so far, and I think Envy would agree. Listen to this interview.
What exactly did you guys address that helped you guys improve from losing in week 1 to now winning in week 2?
We literally just did one thing. We put Eggster on an agent where he's going to run it down and kill everybody.
Really have another direction to go. You're either walking back towards the chamber or you're walking into Eggster. That's a free one for him.
Or you're running and you're jumping and you're just getting mowed down. Great shots out from Eggster. It's been a big turnaround from him, and that's a flawless way to shut down C9.
He can play exactly like Yoru. Just flash some shit, run it down, kill everybody. It's the perfect agent for him.
So you heard a little bit from Pop in there, but yeah, Phoenix isn't that much different from Yoru in the fact that he has initiator utility that kind of bleeds into Yoru's kit, right? He has 2 flashes that are really hard to dodge. Like if you were to line up Yoru flashes, I mean, it's really hard to dodge. His wall can be used to entry for his team, like create space and initiate retakes and initiate pushes or splits, or even stall people out, right? Or help his team get out of sticky situations. And his ult is especially similar to Yoru's Dimensional Drift in the fact that he has an extra life to play with. He can run it down, get a bunch of info for his team, only this time he can shoot his gun. And now in these 2 games, I'm going to flip through every round, I believe. That not only proves that Phoenix is kind of like an initiator duelist hybrid similar to Yoru, but also prove that this really is Eggster's new home. So I'm taking us to Envy's first full buy, and the offense's plan is pretty simple. They're going to default across the map and eventually try and hit a site. So I'm going to skip a little bit ahead. They start by defaulting A. The Skydog goes up mid. Neon and Teo go over to B. We Skyflash into Art. We've essentially created pressure all around the map, and I think Astra's heard this chamber trip, so they're going to try and default this next, right? So the Teo drone goes down B main. Neon's jump spotting, making noise, and eventually you're going to see that most of the offense move towards street. They smoke Art, or I guess connector, they break the trip, move in, and this causes a shift in the defense. So Demo 1 notices that nothing's up B, so obviously most of the offense have to be somewhere in mid. So Eggster shifts over, picks up connector, tries to help out Rossi, and you're going to see the offense, they're going to want to create a little more pressure in mid. And when you're pushing into a Phoenix, you have to be ready to dodge his flashes. Keep in mind, these guys used to be rankers. They're just playing agents that they're comfortable with, and you heard his teammates say it in that interview. Phoenix is a ranked agent. It's one that Eggster's put a lot of time on, and as you can see, this looks like a Yoru flash, right? Eggster scans the whole corner, notices that he can only be in one spot, gets pre-fired, and then he swings and pre-fires the next guy. There's not a whole lot of thinking. There's no Vito TPs he's got to put down. There's no smokes. There's no harbor walls. Nothing. Just swing and kill everybody. So this round, you're going to see Phoenix's ult used similarly to how we saw Yoru's Dimensional Drift being used when he was meta. Teams would gather information off of whatever Yoru saw, would make decisions, would use utility, would know where to shoot, all that type of thing. And now Phoenix's ult is kind of the same. You have an extra life, and you don't really care where you go with it. You can run it down, get all the info you want, be an extra body for somebody to trade out on. Everything that you could do with Yoru's ult, you can kind of do with Phoenix's ult. So here, the offense have taken A main. Astra spots nothing B main. Chamber doesn't really see anything in mid yet. So, in Envy's mind, most of the offense, since they are in A main, they've made a lot of noise here, so they have to assume that there's a lot of people in here, so let's get proactive. And throughout this entire game, Eggster keeps finding value on Yoru. I'm taking this to another full buy. The offense are geared up to go A. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but the offense try using their Armageddon, Trailblazer, right? And if you saw for a split second, Eggster places a pretty good molly alongside Kesnet's stun to where the offense can't really go in. So this molly is going to land kind of like right in this area. You have the Neon stun here, and the offense can't really follow up off of any of their utility. The Armageddon goes in, and Envy even block out the attackers with a big Cosmic Divide. Now, I'm going to skip ahead just a little smidge. Kesnet goes crazy, but Cloud9 end up finding a little bit of a plant up against this wall. And what Envy are going to do are line up their bodies so that Eggster's up on top of this little brick wall ledge, and he's holding this exit with chamber, the side of the wall with chamber. And eventually, the offense know they need to push through and take this space. But Eggster ends up getting both. He drops back in a dugout, immediately pops his ult, and starts running it down. He gets a ton of info for his team. Sky's right there, Neon's right there, allows Demon 1 to swing, and again, that it reveals his Zeppa's position that he has to be somewhere past this line and up, so that when Rossi turns the corner, he knows exactly where to aim his crosshair. You know, this run's not too crazy, but I do want to show off some of the capabilities that Phoenix's new wall has. We see this in Haven a lot more, where Phoenix's wall is used a lot to retake certain parts of the map. So if he's rotating over from C over to C, he can block off the site like this. On B, he can cut site in half like this so that his team can run out and flood back site. On A, he can do things like this so his teammates backside can hold out a little longer, and it blocks off site, right? And you can do this on a whole lot of maps. Fun fact, Haven and Pearl are probably one of Phoenix's, they're actually both Phoenix's best maps right now, and teams are just abusing him on this map. He actually has a 19-2 win record as I'm making this video, according to TMV, so that was pretty interesting to hear. But back to the game. So, the offense is taking A, Sky's planting. Obviously, you have 4 defenders back in spawn. An extra attacker just dies. But notice how from spawn, when Sova's drone's coming out, Eggster is able to flip up his blaze so that it blocks off art and protects the drone from being shot from anybody playing an art, right? So it allows them to move forward, and obviously, and you move in, scale, and win the round. And now here, we have a really good example of how Phoenix's flashes act similarly to Yoru's. They're really hard to dodge, they initiate pushes for your team, and he could also be selfish with them and use them himself. So, the offense, once again, are taking A, they have a Cosmic Divide, they're ready to split art, and they're using their Steel Gardens to clear out basically this entire box, forcing the defense into spawn. So, Sky Flash goes in, Kazet's doing his best to try and stall and be just really threatening, stuffing the attackers in this choke with his overdrive, with his fast lane, everything. He's really stalling. He does a really good job of playing Neon. He plays Neon really well. But he stalls Cloud9 long enough so that his teammates are in position. And if you watch Eggster, he flashes, his teammates swing, they kill everybody, except nobody clears church, and Zeppa kills 3. But I still think that this is a really good example as to how Phoenix can single-handedly ignite a retake, right? So, the flash pops just around the corner. Again, I don't know how anybody is dodging this. Even the people in A main got full blinded. Not only that, we see the Phoenix wall go up, it blocks anybody out from art, but again, nobody cleared church, so it is a little unlucky. I mean, maybe, and I mean, really maybe, because the drone got shot from here, maybe we're all too focused on art and nobody's on church, but it's a little unlucky, but it's still a good demonstration as to how Phoenix's kit acts similarly to Yoru. So I'm taking it to the second half. This is Envy's bonus, Cloud9's first full buy, and as you can see, the offense are primed to go A, but they're not going to fight it right away. Phoenix is really good at fighting for A main because his molly can fly over walls and land in like pixel perfect spots, right? It can like land right here to stop people from scaling. It can land here on defense or here on defense to stop obviously attackers from pushing up. But Envy played this a little differently. So the round is going to start. The defense are going to take full A main control. The Sky Flash goes off. Nothing else is used because it doesn't get tagged. The smoke goes up, right? So Cloud9 feel like they have A main, right? But not really. Envy are walking up really quiet like, and watch what happens. So yeah, Phoenix flashes are really hard to dodge. I'm pretty sure Sky gets full blinded, but she does turn it pretty fast. We just can't see without the replay system, right? So Phoenix, as you can see, throws a flash. Sky, I think, turns it, right? But it doesn't matter. This pop is just too strong, and it ends up overpowering Cloud9, and they end up taking site. Now, the thing about Phoenix is that compared to other agents like Sky or KO or Breach, where they are initiators, right? You do hear their flashes, and they could possibly be easier to turn, especially KOs, because you could hear them throw them. I'm like 99% positive. Sky is obviously hard to turn, but Phoenix really can fill that initiator role that since Riot's nerf to all initiators in patch 11.08 happened, that Phoenix can fill that role really nicely. He can fill that initiator role while still giving a team like Envy the option to run it down and just swing, like what they base their roots off of. And I do get this question quite a bit as to why is Phoenix being played so much in professional play all of a sudden. And I think the answer is because Riot nerfed so many agents, like all the initiators and Yoru, right? I think Phoenix's kit now, people are starting to realize that like the 60-second cooldown timer, nobody wants to play with that. But this guy's flash, he gets a lot of flashes. His ult, he gets a lot of ults. That's a lot of extra utility. When this ult in reality should be like 7 or 8 ult orbs. But because Riot want Phoenix to have like something good going on in his kit, they never really touched his ult. So I think teams are now recognizing that, hey, we don't want to play with these crappy initiators. We don't want to play with nerfed Yoru. Why don't we play with Phoenix, who has a 6-point ult? Like that is insane, right? So, and we're gonna see Envy get a lot of value out of it this round too. So Envy obviously are splitting B, the Sova drone goes off, the Phoenix ult goes off, and as Astra, what do you do? Like obviously you're not going to contest this. Neon, what do? You're not going to contest this. And Eggster's able to run all the way down street, clear a path for Kesnin, and Even then, Kesnet clears a path for his team. He slides in, he kills everybody, and he just kills everybody. But it's because Eggster is able to run down street like this so freely, it gives it Kesnet the confidence to run down and just go kill everybody, right? He just got so much information. Street's clear. It's time to go. Let's run down, right? And then not only that, again, Phoenix's wall can go through walls. So in this post plant, Eggster walls off Heaven. There's a little gap in it, but obviously pro players are going to be ready for that gap. So this stops Sky from running out of Heaven and trying to help her team. I'm trying to pause it, but everything's happening so fast. Sky gets here in time, right? Just focus on Sky. She gets here in time. If she wants to like peek through this Phoenix wall, she flashes through, doesn't really commit through. Again, this wall does a lot of damage as well. This isn't decay damage like a Viper wall, and it doesn't slow you like a Harbor wall. This does permanent damage to you, right? And it's hard to push. So again, Envy just find so much value out of this agent. And now here we see just a pretty cool like mid split type thing. It's kind of hard to explain. So the round's going to start, and Neon's going to flip up her flash lane, and she's going to sprint into Art. There's going to be a Silver Dart, there's going to be an Astro Suck, and there's going to be a Phoenix wall that basically creates this big, giant mid pinch for Envy. So there's like a ton of commotion going on in mid, while these two slowly take B main, and eventually the offense are going to split B, and then obviously Cloud need to fight one side. They swing it to Eggster, and then they die. It's just a cool mid split. It's just a cool like mid default I wanted to show you guys. And Eggster got 2 kills, so who doesn't like seeing Eggster frag out? And now Eggster didn't just play Phoenix on Pearl, but he also played him on Haven, and we need to look at a couple rounds from Haven as well, because that's the right thing to do. So the offense are going mid while Neon makes a bunch of noise on A. Now we have Kesnet on Eggster holding B, and once we have Kesnet take contact, we're going to see a fat Phoenix flash. We don't actually see it with our replay system for pro games. But again, we see a flash that you would see out of a Yoru. It's hard to turn. The offense get dookied on, and Envy end up winning the round. And now, in this game, it seemed like Envy, whenever they had a Phoenix ult on defense, they had some like crazy push plan in store behind it. So we're going to see a big push. We have Neon and Sova playing on A. We have Phoenix who's about to run down mid, and Demon 1 holding Garage. Now, they are playing against a Neon, and I'm going to explain this a little bit more later, but I do wish Demon 1 had his TP placed, I guess, after the round started, like in this corner, so we can extend a bit more. But regardless, the round is going to start, and we're going to see Eggster ult. We have a Recon Dart land in spawn. We have Neon stunning lobby, and they're just running up. Eggster gets 1, almost gets 2. Demon 1 pushes out a Garage. Obviously, he gets traded, and this is where I wish he had that deeper TP if we planned a push like this. But also, he's playing against a Neon, so maybe he just doesn't want to get run down in case Cloud9 are doing a fast Garage take. So maybe that's hindsight to say, but I do think a closer TP once the buy barriers drop would have been cool. Yeah, Envy end up winning this round, 3v1. Okay, so you can see that Envy have a ton of ults online, one being Phoenix. And remember what I said about 40 seconds ago? We're going to see something aggressive. Watch this. We got, at the start of the round, and Neon's running it down, insta-stuns window, insta-walls up. Sovas has a recon again, landing in spawn. He's ripping his laser based off of whatever his teammates see. Phoenix ults out of Garage, and literally, it took 10 seconds for Cloud9 to go down 4-1. 3-1, and eventually, obviously, Oxy dies, but that is such a well-coordinated push from a bunch of players that, you know, everybody thinks just plays ranked. Okay, so now, yeah, I'm sitting here bouncing on Eggster's, you know, woo-ha because he's playing a good Phoenix, but it doesn't mean that he's a Phoenix master, and we're going to see some of that here this round. Envy's plan, obviously, is to split C with how they're positioned, and Cloud9 want to fight for mid, and it looks like they have some sort of, like, fast flood or retake setup over on A, right? So, the round's going to start. The offense are going to walk up towards the Garage. The defense obviously are just stacked B. They're waiting for some sort of reaction, maybe to flood in on C or something. And Sova drones in the Garage. Phoenix is going to wall up to protect the drone and protect his teammates so they can get into window. And Neon's going to fly out and do this. There's a stun. Eggster mollies B, so you can see these players can't come out. Penny's on an island all by himself. And Envy have basically taken these two whole parts of the map. Now, in response, Cloud9 decides, since they just lost all this, they want to go re-wrap Garage, because this is being heavily contested, right? So they push down south, they wrap towards Garage door, and you're going to see that off of Eggster's contact, Demon 1's going to swing. So obviously Eggster sees some people, Demon 1 whiffs, which is really unlike him. And we see Phoenix whip out his flash. We see Eggster whip out his flash, and maybe a more experienced Phoenix player doesn't pull out his util and fight like this. Maybe he just fights more towards sight with his team. But that could be a little overconfidence, could be, who knows, it could be a Phoenix inexperience. So it's just hard to say, right? And unfortunately, these two deaths are what lead to Cloud9 actually retaking after this a beautiful C-split through spawn, right? With the Phoenix Molly to stop the flood. We got the Phoenix Wall protecting them in garage, right? He could throw it from outside of garage so his team doesn't get destroyed. Honestly, really, really, really well-timed C-split. All based around Phoenix. Well, not all, but you know what I mean. And now, like I said, yes, Eggster is a Phoenix connoisseur now, but that doesn't mean he's playing Phoenix to the best of his capabilities. So, as you can see here, Cloud9 are retaking A because they have Killjoy's ult. And genuinely, Killjoy ulting in this corner is one of the best ults in the game because as the offense, you can't really punish it unless you have some damaging abilities for this corner. So obviously, Envy realized that this side is open, so they try to plant some more open for spam. And Eggster pops his ult and tries to run into the defensive spawn, but I don't know if that's the right play. Phoenix, he pauses for a moment, right? And he realizes that this Killjoy ult's going off, right? And at around the 3 to like 4 second mark, maybe, he pops his ult from like short right here and then just runs in. And yeah, maybe he's not going to get a lot of kills or like a whole lot of value, right? But by doing something like this, he's in position to either get kills if Cloud9 decide to retake early, or 2, he can be in a position to actually use his molly to stall the flood, right? And then these guys can't come out of spawn. I mean, maybe they'll force through it and be damaged a lot, but right? But I think by popping your Phoenix ult just way too early and the defense taking care of it way too early, I think it just doesn't make sense to use it like that. And like I said, if you pop it around the 3 to 4 second mark, maybe your Phoenix ult gets detained, but then you yourself won't be detained by the time you get out of your animation, right? So then you're already right here and you could like flash around this corner. You could throw, I don't know, you could throw your wall up like this and leak back out. And I think that using your Phoenix ult like this is kind of a waste, and you shouldn't just run it down or just run at them because you can. So overall, Eggster had a really awesome game, and if you do want to see Phoenix played at the highest level possible, Paper Rex played him, and it's in this video right here. Check out my Twitch down in the description.